Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Cultured Fools. I just wanted to start the show by saying thank you to all those wonderful people who have subscribed to the channel, anyone who has shared with their friends, anyone who's commented below, and anyone who's liked, anyone who follows me on all socials. Just say thank you very much for supporting the channel. The more traction I can get with this, the more time I can dedicate to this. And this week's been a bit of a tricky one. Not had a great deal of time to dedicate to the show, real life things, working for a living and paying bills and keeping roofs over everyone's heads and all that sort of stuff. So, but that happens. We're all human, right? Life gets in the way. But I'm not the sort of person when I am pushed and onto really sharp deadlines, I always try to hit them. And I'm not the sort of person who's going to deliver poor quality content. Like, rehashing some crap idea that no one really asked for. Ladies and gentlemen, a glass. What type of glass should you be drinking your wine from? Well, drink it from whatever you want to, basically. If you want to drink it from a mug, I don't give a fuck. Oh, you free person. It's not Nazi Germany. I don't think you need a multitude of glasses in your life. I've got one style, it's a cheap one because they always break, right? The only thing I would suggest is that if you've got champagne flutes at home, get one out, get a normal wine glass out, pour any wine you want, white, red, give it a swirl, try the big glass first, and then try the champagne flute, and see what the results is. I would hazard a guess that you would probably say,
"This is cum."
This is because champagne flutes are designed to make the bubbles look effervescent and sexy, yeah? Got nothing to do with the flavours, got nothing to do with the aroma. 100% advise everyone to drink your sparkling through a white wine glass or a red wine glass. The other thing I wanted to talk about was cork versus screw cap. There is a perception that screw cap wine is cheap and not as good quality as wine that has a cork. It's not true. The reality is that it's quite expensive and labour intensive to purchase cork, and also it's kind of one of the great benefits of having cork is for ageing, because enough oxygen comes in and enough bad gases get out for it to kind of breathe and age really well. However, that also allows in other bacteria and basically provides more of an opportunity for it to become corked or spoiled, which basically means that if you've ever had a wine and it smells like a wet dog or a wet newspaper or like a musty kind of smell, that means your wine's fucked.
On a scale from 1 to 10, my friend, you're fucked.
The story goes that in Australia in the 70s, there was a conspiracy where a lot of winemakers felt that where they were ordering their cork from, they were getting bad quality cork. If you didn't know, cork comes from Spain and Portugal, from the cork oak tree. It's a tree that's native to that region. Basically, a lot of Aussie winemakers one year just got really fucked off because like half of their wine was just binned because of corkage. They felt that they were getting really shit quality because Spain and Portugal try to minimise their entry into market, and they're like, well, bollocks to this, we'll just go screw cap. And they had a committee of these winemakers, they all agreed to commit to it and go forward, just to own it, and that's why we have screw top wine. Like with anything, there's a place for both. If you've got a rosé, and like 90% of white wines, with the exception of Chardonnay, Riesling, Semillon and a few others, but basic wines, whites and rosés that you drink do not, should not, and never will be aged. Don't think that you've got like a great 2010 Pinot Grigio. It will taste like piss. Rosés especially as well. You don't have to buy a cork rosé. Just buy it with a screw cap. It was a better chance for it to be exactly how the winemaker envisaged it to be. With sparkling wine, you want the pomp and ceremony of opening that bottle and it kind of flying over us. Yeah, that's where a cork is really handy. And the other example is with dessert wine or things like Rioja, which is meant to be aged. I would probably avoid screw cap Rioja. Being based in a New World region, pretty much all my wine screw cap, and you get some fucking crackers. Reach for the glass, ein Spite. Grab your bottle of wine, ein Spite.
Food on the table, ein Spite. Sit on the food, ein Spite.
Look at your wine. Is it vibrant? Is it dull? Does it have a clear band when we give it a swirl? Does it have legs? Stick your nose in the wine. Red fruits or dark fruits? Secondary aromas. Is it bready? Is it chocolatey? Is it bacony? That's also the name of my last album. And then we focus on tertiary. Hit me.
As wine ages, the primary flavors move into the background, and other notes become more prominent. Those are called tertiary notes. They tend to stray further from the fruit flavors into more complex versions of earth, mineral, mushrooms, nuts, floral and spice.
Right, let's fucking taste it. Now that weird little gargly swirly thing I did that to awaken the flavours. You don't have to do it on every mouthful. Just the first one, just go, oh, okay, cool, that's what I'm getting, and then just crack on with the one. When it comes to tasting, let's just first of all focus on 4 things, and we'll build our skill sets as we go. Body, fruit, acid, tannins. Let's just look at those ones today. First of all, let's talk about body. You've probably heard people go, oh, it's got lots of body. Essentially, it's about alcohol levels. Alcohol gives the wine a certain weight. Think about it as the difference between sort of skimmed milk and full fat milk. One tastes heavier significantly than the other, right? It's the same thing. If it's a big, thick wine, it's going to have more alcohol, it's going to have more body. If it's low in alcohol, it's going to be light, right? With fruit, all you're trying to determine is where does it sit on the scale of fruity or savoury. You don't have to list every fruit that you've ever fucking learnt. You just have to determine which one it is. Is it fruity or is it savoury, like a mushroom or an earthy taste?
Wait a minute! Who are you?
Next is acid. We've spoken about it before, but basically it's the reaction that your mouth does to the wine. It's like you salivate, you produce a lot more saliva basically. High acid wines can be a little bit like sucking a lemon. Low acid wines, like a Grenache for example, could be a little bit just flabby and just taste like juice. Again, it's all about balance and whatever your preference is. Next is tannins, and we've spoken about this previously. It's the sort of cotton mouth sensation you get with wine. It like dries the tongue. Again, with balance, it would be working simultaneously with the acid, which will water the mouth and then it will dry the mouth. And that will ultimately, if they work together, that produces a really good finish. Body, fruit, acid, tannins. Work your way through that.